Let's see. I'm gonna adjust the focus on the camera just a bit here. Let's try this. See if that helps. Yeah, that looks better. Maybe not. Let's try it. Better, kind of looks worse. Why is it having such a hard time? I don't know. Well, I'm gonna turn the autofocus back on because even though it's not great, it's better than not having it on, it seems like. Maybe I'm just too close for it to focus at all. New camera, so we'll see how it goes. Hi, Wolfie. Yay, camera works. Okay, well, I guess it's 11, so we'll just get started here. So I decided today to do something a little bit different. I thought I would stream some chainmail making. I've been doing chainmail, oh, I don't know, a couple of years now. I don't do it super often. It's just kind of another craft thing that I do in addition to many other things. Like this is a cool thing I made a little while ago. It's like just a little cube, you know, those fidget cubes got so popular. This is about the same size as those. But I don't know. I think mine's cooler. And I mean, you can definitely fidget with it, you know. I've played around with making various ones. This one has some different colors on it. This one's kind of cool because the purple rings here are actually rubber, so it gives it a little bit of a different texture. But yeah, so those are kind of neat. Yeah, and I don't know, maybe I'll pull out some other stuff as the stream goes on and we'll see how it goes. So today I really want to I've been working on this sculpture and this is my prototype. This was just with rings that I already had. I really want to make a handbell because I play handbells with a local choir. And a handbell, here, I have a picture right here, let's see. It looks like this. So it's just a bell with a handle on it, and you hold it vertically, and then you ring it with a full choir. So if you imagine like each bell is one note. So if you imagine there's a piano player and it's one person playing all the different notes, a bell choir is like 14 people standing at a piano, each person playing two notes. That's kind of the concept. So yeah, we have 14 people in our choir, and we have, I don't know, 50 some bells that we play. You know, you have to change notes sometimes. So I thought I would try to make a little sculpture of a bell. And I got the idea, I found this weave pattern, this chainmail weave pattern, and I thought, hey, I bet I could make a bell out of that. So this was sort of what I came up with. I didn't finish it because I wanted to get the right colors, and I'm not entirely sure this size is going to work, so I ordered some more rings a few weeks ago in different colors and sizes. So hopefully today we'll get something like this. So what I'm going to do first is, this weave is called dragon scale, and I actually weave it flat first, and then you join it in the round, basically. I'm going to use, I think, a slightly different size than I did here, which could end up changing the weave. I'm not quite sure exactly if it's going to work yet, so this was a little bit of an experiment, I suppose you could say. So here I got these gold-colored rings because handbells are made of bronze, and there's basically three major manufacturers, and the two that are here in the U.S. they're bronze bells with black handles, black or white depending on what note it is. The set that we have in the choir that I play, we have black handles. So I have these yellow, gold-colored rings, and then these little teeny tiny black ones to make the handle. I have an idea of how I'm going to do that part as well, but that's not going to come until later, so I'm going to put these back for now. And I apologize, I'm getting over a cold, so you may hear me getting stuffy at some points during the stream here. So, let's see. Yeah, that's the right size. So I want to start with these rings, I believe. Changing ring sizes is not always the most straightforward thing because there's a thing in chainmail called AR, which stands for aspect ratio, and it's the ratio of the size of the wire or the wire gauge to the inner diameter of your ring. And it's usually a number between like 3 to 8 for the most part. There's other ones, but that's what a lot of weaves are kind of in that aspect ratio range. And certain weaves will not work if your aspect ratio is outside of a certain range. So dragon scale, the times I've done it before, I can't remember. I have a pattern here. Let's see. What does it say? Does it even have the aspect ratio on here? No, it doesn't. It just tells you what rings for this particular size. But, so I'm going to experiment. I ordered a bunch of different sizes, and I also ordered just some plain wire, just in case I had to like make my own rings in weird sizes that I don't have. So we'll see how it goes today. So I'm going to start with, I think, these two. And how you make dragon scale is there's larger rings and smaller rings. So here's what it looks like flat, actually. Here's a little piece that I made with it flat. So you make it with two colors. So right here, the silver rings are a larger size, and it's hard to see. These colored ones are pink, and the pink ones are smaller. And they kind of interlock in between each other. You can see the weave has some spreadability to it. So if you use different sizes, that changes this weave structure. And I'm not sure the sizes I have, it will work. So this is a little bit of an experiment. So to start with, I'm actually going to pull up an online tutorial real quick because the written instructions I have vary just slightly from what I want to do. So let me just pull this up on my laptop here really fast. Oh, I gotta find it again. Search it, it should come up here pretty quickly. Okay, search for dragon scale. That's not at all what I wanted. Okay, let's go this way. Where is it? Why is it not? Oh shoot! I knew I should have saved the page when I had it because now I can't find it again. Hang on. Oh, sorry about this. Oh, my nose has been running quite a bit the last couple of days. Must be in a different category. I guess I'm here. If I was prepared, I would have prepared this in advance. Nope, that's not the page I want. Why is it not? Okay. I went with Google. Because Google has a better search function than this website. There it is. Alright. So I made this one with basically 5 rings of each size. I think I want to maintain that. I may end up wanting 4, but we'll see how this does with 5. Alright. So basically, I'm going to be pre-closing some of these rings. Just for how to put the weave together. So let's try closing a bunch of these. It's really important to try and get, get them as close as possible. It's definitely a challenge sometimes. The little gap here between the 2 sides that's caused by the saw when it cuts them is called the kerf. So closing the kerf, getting a good close, is something that, is the mark of a skilled person with chainmail. And people who are not as skilled often don't get as good of closes on their kerf. And the quality of the rings you have does make somewhat of a difference. These are pretty good quality rings, so as long as I do this properly, I should be able to get pretty good closes here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so I've pre-closed a bunch of my larger size rings. I also want to start with, oops, that's the wrong side. So basically start by making a chain of alternating large and small rings. So here I have a smaller ring and I'm going to open it just a little bit. I'm going to put 2 large rings on it and then I'm going to close it. So then I have that. So because I want 5 large rings in this row, I'm going to add a few more in this same way. Okay, have that one. if you know in advance kind of exactly what you're going to do with your project, you can pre-close and pre-open all of the rings that you're going to need. But because this one's sort of an experiment, I don't exactly know all of what I'm going to need, so that's why I'm not taking the time to do all of that. Okay, there's 4 and 5. Okay, so you see I have 5 large rings and 4 small ones right here. Excuse me. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to need to close some more large rings here. Just a couple more, because I think I only need 4 for this next row. That's enough. Got an extra one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these ones I just closed, I'm going to put them over the top of the smaller rings, and just kind of sit them there. I haven't ever actually done this weave this way before. There's different ways you can do this weave, and this one's a little bit of an experiment. Not only is it an experiment with sizes, but it's also an experiment with the technique. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, so I guess I do need actually some open large ones. Because now what I'm going to do is, basically I'm going to enclose these large ones, like sandwich them with some other rings. So I actually need to open a larger ring here. And I'm going to take these out of here. If you have too many loose rings, sometimes it makes things difficult. Okay, let's do this one at a time. So I've got, this one's been pre-closed. I'm going to lay it on top of that small ring. Now this one's opened. I'm going to have to pick this up here in order to be able to do it. So I am just going to hook into that small ring, but I don't want to go through the large ring. I just kind of want to sandwich it there in between the small ring and the other large ones. So I've got that done there. So now I want to close this big one. Okay, let's see how that looks. It looks okay. I'm a little concerned about this weave structure here because it's not laying flat, and I think it's, again, I mentioned aspect ratios, and I don't think, I'm going to try putting another one on here and see what happens, but I think my aspect ratio is wonky, and I think I'm going to have to redo this with a different size. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to do this with the same size I used for these ones. And what I'm going to have to do is, because this silver rings is the actually largest size diameter I can order that are this wire gauge. And I have some in the gold. I ordered some. But what I'll have to do is, because I'm going to need some larger than this for the bottom for it to flare out. So I'll have to make some of my own rings using the wire that I bought, which is exactly why I did that, because I had a feeling I might run into this problem. So we're just going to deconstruct this really fast and put the rings back just to keep them together, keep all the sizes together, keep them organized. I spent some time a few weeks ago sort of reorganizing my ring stash just because now I have a lot that are close enough in size that I really need to be careful about keeping them separated, because it's like if you get them mixed up and they're really close in size, it's really, really difficult to figure out, you know, which ones go where. Because we're talking about like, you know, a 32nd of an inch difference in size between some of these. So I have a little labeling and little labeling system and just a little not toolbox but tool storage box, little craft storage area that I have organized for these. Okay, so now we're going to put these away, keeping the small ones and the large ones separate. And I don't tend to, you know, you want to work them, it's okay to reuse, you know, rings, take them apart and do that, but the metal will get weak over time. Like the more you work it, the weaker it gets. So you want to do it, you want to avoid it as much as you can, but if you have to undo and redo something a couple of times, it shouldn't cause it to break. But it's still just good practice to work it the least that you have to. Okay, so here's my other size that I have. This is the size, the same size that I used to make my prototype. So I know for sure that this size is going to work. And they do tend to get a little tangled in storage because they do have a slight gap right there. So you just have to spend some time untangling them. And again, I try not to open them to do this if I don't have to, because again, you want to avoid working the metal if you don't have to do it. I haven't really had too many rings break on me from overuse. It's usually when I have had to work them quite a bit. So we're going to do the same thing. This is the larger size, so we're going to pre-close 5 of these here, just like we did with the other size. Got it stuck on my pliers. There we go. Just gonna keep the ones I've already done separate from the ones that I haven't done yet. Okay, there's 5 of those. The size I need is actually in the other container, so I'll open that. There we go. Let's see how the colors look. So because I ordered, well, it's a pretty close match. Sometimes when you order rings either at different times or even just, you know, different sizes, sometimes the colors can be a little bit off because of dye lots and things like that. And, you know, the manufacturer always tells you to buy everything you need for one project at once. But these ones actually look pretty darn close, so I think I got lucky on this one. So we're just going to take these smaller rings and do the same thing, make a little chain. Here's one, I've already used it on something because it's already opened. So we're just going to hook it around like that. Okay, so once again I've got a row of 5 large rings and 4 small ones. You want to make sure they're all kind of facing the same direction here. It doesn't really matter which way, they just all need to be consistent. Okay, so now I'm going to pre-close 4 of these large rings, just like I did last time. I don't know how far I'm actually going to make it in this sculpture. The prototype I made, it took me at least a couple hours to come up with that, so I don't know. We'll see how far we get today. I don't think we're going to finish it, but we'll make some progress. Okay, so there's 4 I've closed. So now I want to take another large one. I'm going to open it here. Put that one over the smaller one. And then put that through just like that. This weave gets much easier once you've kind of got it established. I mean, a lot of weaves are like that, you know. Some people will even like, you know, sometimes you have to tie rings in place with like a little twisty tie as you're getting the weave established. So this is a lot better. See how it's a lot kind of looser there and the rings are kind of able to lay flat versus with the other sides they weren't able to do that. So that's why aspect ratio is important, basically. Okay, so there's that one. So we're just going to do the same thing on down the line. Open one here. This one I actually want to go through both of these small rings, and my fingers are kind of getting in the way, but let's see. There we go. That's what I want, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to close this large one. Okay. Do the same thing here. I'm gonna get that one through there and then this one through here. There we go. The reason I'm trying this weave a little bit differently is because the instructions I have are for making it with as like a bracelet, so it has a taper on the end of it, which is really nice if you're gonna make a bracelet with it. But I don't want that for this sculpture. So when I say taper, like so this here, this one that I made before. So the widest part, it's 3 large rings and 3 small, but then you see how the top, it kind of tapers to a point here, and so I don't want to do that with this sculpture, so I'm just basically starting right from the widest part, and I'm not going to have these tapers on mine. And what's going to happen to get the flared shape, I'm just going to change ring sizes at each end, and then form it into a circle. Hopefully. That's the idea. We'll see if that actually works. I may have to fudge some of the ring sizes with the wire that I bought. Yeah, that's starting to look like some dragon scale. So I've got one more to do on this row here. Okay. See, that's not a great close right there. So I'm going to tweak it just a bit. Larger rings, for me at least, are a little bit harder to close than smaller ones. So I've got 2 rows there basically. I just want to add one more onto the end here. Okay, there we go. So I've got kind of my 2 rows established. I can probably use the instructions that I have now, because I actually do like how these tell me how to do the weave once it's been established. Because now what I'm going to do is put these smaller rings. Let's see. Yeah, so now I need to use smaller rings. And I go back in that row. I'm going to open some of these here. Not sure if I'm going to need 4 or 5, so we'll open 5. Just here looking at my prototype, and maybe I need to uncircular this. Maybe I need to make it flat again just to see what I did so that I can compare it. No, we're just going to keep going here. Now I've got this established. I want to put one of these small ones. Yeah, okay. So there's going to be one here, and this one's only going to go through 1 ring, just because it's on the end. But the rest of them are all going to go through 2. This is going to be tricky to do. I want it to go through, no, not like that. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to go down the row. Okay. Yeah, all right. That's exactly what I want to do. I know it's probably impossible to see exactly what I'm doing, but it'll get clearer as we get farther along. So yeah, you see what I'm adding here is these small rings underneath the ones that are already there. And the way this weave works is you're always connecting small rings to larger rings. You don't ever connect small to small or large to large. They're always interlocking with each other. It's a little bit easier to do this if you use two separate colors, which is why I did that the first few times I tried it, but now that I'm familiar enough with the weave, I can do it all the same color like this. I mean, you get some really cool effects when you do it, you know, in 2 or 3 or 4 different colors, but you know, since this is a sculpture and I'm going for something specific, that's why I'm doing it all in one color. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so this is kind of like, I would call this like a foundation row has been established here. So, since I just did a row of small rings, I know I'm going to have to do another row of large rings. I believe. Let's see here. You basically alternate. So if you do a row of small rings, then your next row is going to be a row of large rings, and vice versa. Although I think here I actually may want to do small ones again. Like I said, there's different ways to do this weave, and the way I'm used to doing it, you alternate opposite rows, but these other instructions have me doing it a little bit differently. Let's get some more smaller rings here. Okay, so I've opened a few of these. What I want to do is connect these ones on the top, I believe. Yeah, because then I want to put large ones on top of that. Okay. When you're really good, oops, I don't think I put that one. Which ones did I do correctly? Let's see here. I think I did that one right. I think this one's wrong. Maybe I can shift it without having to open it. Sometimes you can do that. There we go. Oh, damn it. I shifted back on the other side. Okay, I'm just going to open it and redo it. Let's see here. What? That one shifted now. Son of a bitch. It's probably impossible to tell exactly what I'm trying to do here, but I'm just trying to get the rings to lay in the correct position. And sometimes if the weave structure is open enough, they can shift around a little bit on you, which is not good. What? I thought I had that. Especially on the edges, it tends to happen more. Okay, there we go. Now I've got that one where I want it. Alright, so let's try and put this one in again. Okay. I think I got it right that time. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. I think that one got flipped around a little bit here. Let's see if we can't do it this way. There's one side. Oh, there we go. Looks like it kind of fixed itself. That one is being a problem on the end here because the end of the weave is looser. Okay. It's probably a problem because I keep picking it up and then the rings kind of all slack together and shift around. But I don't have a good way to close them without doing that, so just the nature of the beast, I suppose. Okay, that's mostly there. Alright, so now I'm going to close 4 large rings. I gotta untangle some more of them here. Alright, there's a few more. So we place the large one over the small one we just put on there. And then we loop another large one through there. I think I can probably do it like this. Get two of these on here. Let's try that. There we go. Let's just make sure we're all lined up. That one's not right. There we go. Okay, I'm going to open a few more here. So we'll put one here, and then run this one through. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Let's see how we're looking here. Something about this doesn't quite look right. Let me take a look. That's in the wrong place. There, that's better. Maybe we're okay. I just have to add two more onto the end here. I don't know. I almost feel like I'm missing something here. Something's not right. I can't quite figure out what it is. So maybe I'm just gonna have to do it this way and take the tapered rings out, because I always have luck when I do it this way. Even, that's how I did this prototype. Yeah, alright, we're gonna put that aside. We're gonna start again with the printed instructions that I have. Husband's home from grocery shopping. Knocking things over in the process. Okay, let's see here. So this way we start with 2 closed small rings. And 1 open large one. Put these 2 on there, and then you close this one. Okay. So it basically starts the same way. You just make a chain with, I'm going to start with 5 large and 4 small. We're just going to keep going down the line. Okay. So now I've got, once again, a chain of 5 large rings interlocked with 4 small ones. I just want them to all be facing the same way. I'm going to make it look just like the picture. There we go. That's what we want. So then I take 4 large rings. I'm going to close them. What'd you find over there, little baby? What'd you find? What's in your mouth? What did you find on the floor? Oh, my lovely son and his penchant for picking up anything on the floor that he finds and immediately shoving it into his mouth. You sure about that? He gave me the look. I'm pretty sure he's got something in his mouth. I need to get some more large rings out here. So now I will kind of do the same thing. I'm going to sandwich the large rings in between. So it does start the same, I suppose. Because I did this exact step on the other one. It's because I added the extra ones on the end, that's why I got confused. Oh, okay, whatever. Okay, last one. Okay, so I've got that. Oh, I think this is what I missed last time. I think I was missing a row of small rings in here. So let's get some more of these out. Okay. Yeah, I think I was missing a row of small rings. Because what I want to do now is put these right here. Okay. Yes, that looks much better. Okay. Oh, hello, Ninja. Sorry, just saw the chat right now. I have a hard time staying focused on that sometimes. Okay. Yeah, so now I've got that. Alrighty then. So then my instructions have me turning it around. So I'm going to be working with it from this angle now. So now I'm going to be working with smaller rings for the next row. And these joints, so I need 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Oh, this is always difficult sometimes when you have to pick it up like that. Where's the one I just added? There it is, okay. There we go. Did I put that one on backwards? I think I might have. No, I think I just gotta. There we go. Just gotta slide it under that one. No. Something isn't right here. This one is not in the wrong place. Come on, you. There we go. That's better. There. That okay, this is what I wanted to do. That's why I was having such a hard time. This is gonna be easier now that it's flipped over. Oh, this one on the outside is killing me. It keeps moving. Okay, I thought I need to move the camera a bit because I'm like consistently on the edge of the frame. Let's see here. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm still loose enough to where the rings are kind of slipping around and it's causing a problem. I think once I get this next row in here, it'll kind of sandwich them in place a bit. Because I'm going to do a row of large. All right. Yeah, that is going to help a lot. Okay. Yes. I'm gonna do this other edge first, just because this is driving me nuts. Come on, you. Get in the right place. Okay. So that one's not right. Okay, now this should be locked in place much better. Try to get this last ring on this row in here. Yes, that looks much better. So what in the hell did I not do? Maybe this one is right and I'm just second guessing myself and it's actually fine. No, I think my end rings are not quite right. That's like a simple fix though. I'll tackle that one. I'll tackle that one another day. I think that's salvageable. Okay. So I got 2 large rings. Or 4. I added 4. Now I have to add some more small rings. I need to make space for these. So now I need to open 5 of these small ones. And the small ones, yes, they have to go through the larger ones. And the less you put your pliers down, generally the faster this goes. It's hard to do in the beginning because you're just trying to get the weave established, but once you get going, you can usually not put them down as much. Okay, yep, there we have another row of small rings. So that means I have a row of large rings next. Oops, I think I wanted to put that in a different place actually. Take this one off. Oops, that one's not quite right. Let's see if we can't fix that one. There we go. Okay, now I need to do a row of small somewhere. No, don't do that. There we go. Yeah, that's better. The weave's getting a little bit tighter now, so the rings are not hopping out of place as easily, which is good. Okay, need 4 more large ones. Go. I'm not getting as good of closes on these large rings. Maybe a little bit of a gap on a lot of them. It's harder to close larger rings, I feel like. There's just more play in them in general. You can sort of start to see how I'm just kind of making a sheet here. Like this one, you can see it's a sheet. So what I do once you get it long enough is you just kind of wrap it around itself. This one doesn't have enough rings in it, so that's why I did 5 large rings. This one has 3 per row, so you can see where it like almost can connect, but not quite. And this is the prototype again I made. It has 5. And you see there's enough wiggle room in here for it to be able to connect all the way around. So how many rows did I do here? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only did 5? Alright, maybe we'll get to this here. Let's look at this. Oh yeah, that's gonna look real nice. Okay, I just did large. That means I need to do small rings now. Okay, and I need to do, I believe, through here. Ah. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. Oops, good. It just has to flip around. There we go. Now it's going the right way. Could I design actual chainmail armor if I had the time and effort? Yes, if I had the time and effort, I could. I follow the there's a chainmail subreddit that I follow, and there's people there posting photos of armor all the time. It's a different weave than this. It's actually a simpler weave when you make armor. Typically, it's something called European 4-in-1, and it uses less rings. But usually, it's made out of like uh, steel, either galvanized or stainless. I think galvanized. Stainless is expensive. And some people will actually rivet their rings. So instead of it being like this with the little opening here, there's like two flat ends, and then you punch a rivet through it, which it's a lot of work, and B, steel is these are anodized aluminum rings, and aluminum is pretty soft, so it's relatively easy to work with. So when you're doing like jewelry or sculpture, things like this, most people choose aluminum because it's cheap and it looks nice and it's nice and soft and easy to work with. But yeah, for something like armor, you do want something stronger, but my hands are not strong enough to really be able to work with steel in that way. So I do not do that. I have only done little jewelry pieces and sculpture things. And it makes me happy, so that works. I do have some titanium rings, which they're really cool. Again, titanium's a lot like steel. It's a lot harder to work with. Here's a example of one of my titanium pieces. I intended it as just like a little fidget thing. You can just kind of like run your fingers over it, and I put a little keychain on the end of it. I have some that are, here's one that's a little bit longer. This is a weave called Persian 4-in-1, I believe. Or maybe it's half Persian. There's several different types of Persian weaves, and I can't remember exactly which one this is, but yeah, you can see where, you just kind of hold on to it and fidget with it a little bit. I like these. Titanium has a little bit of a different feel to it than aluminum does. It has sort of this is unanodized. I do have some anodized titanium. It looks very different from anodized aluminum just due to the nature of the metal and the process. It's actually two different processes, anodizing aluminum and titanium. So the colors look a little bit different. Ugh, excuse me. Blow my nose again. Do I have my... Yeah, so here's some of my anodized titanium rings here. We'll put them on my hand so you can actually see the color. There's some blue. It's a lot harder to control the actual color you get with titanium versus aluminum, so that's why I have like a lot of different colors here. I don't know how well you can see that on my camera versus like the plain titanium is just like a matte gray finish basically. And then versus the aluminum, which is a very bright finish. And it's just because when you anodize titanium, you have to use an electrical current, and you get different colors based on the voltage, and it's kind of hard to control the voltage sometimes, so that's why you get weird colors. Versus with aluminum, there's actually a dye that goes into the bath with it, so you have a little bit more control over how the color strikes on the metal. At least that's my rudimentary understanding of it. I've never actually done it, but when I looked it up, that was what I found. They both do, you do have to use electricity in both processes to get the color to stick, but it's just slightly different. Thank you, honey. My husband just brought me over some Kleenex for me. And my son just went down for a nap, so you won't hear the baby for the rest of the stream, because he'll be sleeping. Alrighty. I want to go through these ones. This is one of those weaves that I need instructions to get the weave started, but once I get the pattern going, I don't generally need the instructions anymore, because I can just kind of see where I'm supposed to put things. It's not like that with every single weave, but this is one of those. Yeah, for some reason, they call chainmail a weave. So like dragon scale, what I'm making right now is this particular weave pattern. I don't know why they call it a weave pattern, because I do actually weave as well with like a loom and yarn. So I'm not sure I'm not sure where that terminology came from in this sense. Like, it's kind of weaving, but it's kind of not. Okay, so got those in right. I wish this was, apparently this camera just doesn't have a good focus length. I got it on autofocus right now. I tried to set it with manual focus, but I couldn't get it to focus at all. So apparently, let's see how this does. Hello, can you focus? Okay, there's close. No, maybe it's just too far away. I got it up on a tripod on my dining room table. It was the only way I could get it, like, to have this top-down view like this. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in future streams I'll get it hooked up a little better. I'll definitely have to tweak it if I ever want to get into. There's this something called micro mail, which is it's chainmail, but it's like really tiny, and like people will make rings out of it. I did order some rings with my last batch to attempt micro mail. They're silver. Get some of them out here. So like, I haven't even taken them out of packaging yet. So like, those are the ones I ordered for micro mail, versus like, maybe I can get them closer to the camera so you can actually see the size, versus like this yellow one is one that I'm working with right now. So you can see how much smaller they are. I'm not even sure that my pliers will really be able to work with these tiny rings. I may have to get some different pliers, we'll see. But I thought it could be fun, because usually the projects you make with that are really tiny and tend to go quickly. That's the other reason I don't make armor. Like, I don't have the patience for it. I mean, it's funny I say that, because I knit, and I make large knitting projects that take me months and even years, but I feel like I just don't have the same patience for this kind of thing as I do with knitting. Because knitting is the type of thing that I pick it up and put it down all the time. And this, I feel like it's a little just harder to do that with something like this. Like, I have to just sit down and get it done in one session almost. Okay, I think I'm almost there to where I can try to sort of fold this in on itself. Maybe like another row or two, and then we'll be good. If I don't finish this by the stream, which I'm not going to, I'll definitely be posting a finished photo in the Discord once this is done. I wonder if I can just add ring on the end of here. Yeah, I think I'll just do that. Then I won't have the taper like that. There we go. It's a little bit too loose. I wonder if I didn't quite do that right, but we'll see. Okay. Come on, you. No. Get in the right place. There we go. Oh, shoot. I did a large row, I believe, last time. So, yes, I want to do a small row. I am not good about staying in the camera range here. Okay. just going to do a few more, and then I'm going to try to close it up. Or no, I should probably do the taper before I close it up. Yeah. It's going to be really challenging. Since I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it. Okay. I need at least one more row of small, possibly one more row of large rings here. Okay, I think that is going to do it for kind of my base here. Oh yes, that's nice. That's very nice. So, let me see here. Okay, this is going to be my top, and this is going to be my bottom. I want some smaller rings here. We're going to try going down a size for a row and seeing what happens. I'm going to put these away so we don't get these mixed up. I may have to end up undoing this and putting different ring sizes in different places. We'll see. Did manage to do a slight taper on my prototype, so I definitely know roughly what I want to do here. So I just did a larger row. Question is, are these going to be too small? Oh, dropped one. There we go. Alright, I'm going to try doing a row with these smaller rings here and see if this is in fact what I want to do. Just gotta get them to flip the right way. Okay, there's that one. Okay, so there's that row. Now the question is going to be whether or not I can actually get it to fit with these other rings here. So wait a minute. Okay, where do I actually want to put these? Hold on. Hold on a second. Yeah, I was afraid of that. I think I have to take some out and put some of these smaller rings in. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe I don't have to. Maybe I can just do it like this. It's pretty tight, but it's kind of what I want, I think. So let's give this a try. Closing them is going to be a bitch though. Let's see here. Okay, there's one. Yeah, see, I don't think. Yeah, I think these are too small. I don't think I'm gonna be able to grab them. Yeah, tapering, this is why sculpture is really challenging, because tapering weaves and getting the right aspect ratios is incredibly challenging. I'm just about out of time anyway. Who is up next? It looks like Wolfera Rose is up next. Okay, yeah, I guess she is going to stream today. Which will work. Not sure she's quite ready to go yet, though. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ponder this puzzle a bit and figure out exactly how I'm gonna do this. So, let's see if I can raid. No, I can't raid just yet. Let's puzzle over this for another couple minutes. Well, if I put... I'm just gonna have to do this row after I've already... I was hoping I could do it all flat, but maybe I'm not gonna be able to do that. Alright, take this one out. I'm gonna take out these little ones too, because I don't think those are going to work as the smaller size. Oh, I wonder, is 3/16 smaller than a 1/4 inch? Yes, I think it is. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this weave basically works on the principle of the rings, two sizes, basically fitting inside each other. And that doesn't... So there's the new sizes I picked. That doesn't look like it's quite gonna work. Yeah, there's definitely some more space there, so I need a smaller inner ring, basically. Looks like. But I wonder if this one will work. Oh boy, these are tiny. That looks too small. What if I do that one with a 1/4 inch? No, wait, that's worse. What if I do this one with... That looks better. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. Is a 1/4 inch with 5/16. God, I gotta keep all these rings straight, or I'm gonna get them mixed up. They're all so close in size. Yeah, I feel like that's what I have to do. So I'm gonna put these back. Alrighty. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and raid now, and I will have to ponder over this for a little while, but thank you for joining me and watching and experimenting with my new webcam, and we'll see you next time.